What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Authentically D. I am your host, as you already know. And yeah, you guys have been rocking with me so far. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This episode is no different. We're going to get into uh, just some matters of the heart, of my heart, some things that I've just been kind of tossing back and forth with. And this is my outlet to share those things. And so today, what I'm going to talk about is I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to entitle this as usual, but the gist of it, or the scope of it, is about the decline of celebrity culture, or the decline of the celebrity. Okay, so it's like there's this, or always has been, this worship of people who seem to fit the status of being a celebrity. They're well known in whatever arena that they're in. And so there's this worship, or this idolization of that person. But my focus today, or goal today, is to kind of share with you, or provoke some thought to change the way you think about the celebrity, in that we are all celebrities in our own right. Or you can look at it that either we're all celebrities or nobody's a celebrity. Okay, so let's get into it. The decline of celebrity culture. And so I remember I was the type of person who had absolutely zero, and when I say zero, I mean zero desire to be in the forefront. I was good behind the scenes. I was good, the one behind the camera, not in front of the camera, working, helping other people do their thing. And I remember, like, real vividly, one year, I think it was like 2015 or 2016, I said to myself, like, I am so good being in the background. I love being in the background. I don't want to be in the forefront. Whoop de whoop de whoop. I also remember this person at the time, in the spiritual arena. I shared that information with them. I was like, I'm good being in the background. I don't want to be in the forefront. And they looked at me like, good luck with that. You're not called to the background. You're called to the forefront. And I was just like, not me. Like, that was so far fetched at the time. Mind you, this is like probably 2015, 2014 even. But what they said definitely turned out to be true. Once I, began to uncover and discover, more so who I was, my purpose in life, things that I was called to do, I was definitely called to be in the forefront. So a part of that meant I was going to be in media in some sort. So some people may know me from when I used to do like really either funny videos, spiritual videos. From back in the day, I had a channel, but that channel actually blew up back then. And so I had a large following. And over time, I became kind of attracted to the likes and the followers and the shares. And for me, and I never thought this would happen, it became more about producing for the likes, producing for the attention, versus producing because it was what I was supposed to be doing, or something that I enjoyed. And so this caused this false burden to perform, and it was a lot of pressure, a pressure that I put on myself, of course, but it was pressure nonetheless. But fast forward, I grew in my emotional state, in my career, in the things that I really wanted to do in life. And Now, I could not care less about um, likes, popularity, external gratification, especially when it's from people who don't even know you in real life. Like, it's external gratification from complete strangers. Yes, these are people who might have followed you over a period of time, and you've kind of grown accustomed to them knowing your ins and outs, online. But in reality, these people are not your friends. And what I realized that I enjoyed most or was more fulfilled by was spending time with people who genuinely cared and loved me, like cared about me, loved me. And it was based on who I was as a person and not what I had to give out to them, to those people. And I do understand the importance of my gifts even now, and it is gonna cause me to um, be out in the forefront. And I get it. I have a responsibility to use those gifts, and I know they're meant to impact the world in some way. But I have a better understanding of how those gifts should be used, and I'm not focused on, being famous or being a celebrity. So that was just my little, about me, my little story. But let's talk about the celebrity. Okay, so what is the definition of celebrity? It is simply a famous person or the state of being well known. So, why do we think, like, especially back in the day, um, where there weren't as many celebrities, why do we think that was like such a big thing to achieve, this celebrity status? Well, I have a few reasons. One is wealth. We equate celebrity status to being wealthy, having a lot of money. Like, who doesn't want that? Also, popularity, notoriety. Everybody wants to be known. Everybody wants to be liked and um, liked for what they can do, liked for their achievements, things like that. Also, um, to have this appearance of success. So we hear of a celebrity, of a famous person, and yes, we think that person is successful. And so we desire to, be like that. Who doesn't want to have that, right? So we develop this um, desire and this craving and this yearning to become a celebrity. Like, that is the ultimate goal, to reach celebrity status. If I reach celebrity status, boom, I've made it. And so I'm going to talk about celebrity status in two main arenas. One is spiritual, the spiritual arena, and one is the secular arena. So usually, when it comes to being a celebrity or being known as a celebrity, there's this gift that's involved, right? This, I'm always eating the mic. Ugh. There's this gift involved. The person has a gift. They choose to share it. Over time, they begin to attract people. The number of those people usually increases to this huge amount of people, and boom, that person is now well known, liked, loved, hated, appreciated, tolerated for that gift. Okay, so usually there's a gift. So think of performers, singers, actresses in the secular or secular arena, right? And in the religious arena, you have people like pastors, you have evangelists, you have apostles, you have, chiefs, people who, whatever you want to call them, all of these titles. And so the same way in the secular world, in the ministry world, these gifts are glamorized, and eventually or ultimately the goal is to become well known because of your ministry gifts. You want to be the person that books the most ministry engagements. You want to be the person who is well known for being booked, getting flued out to go preach. Like, it's so weird that that's even a thing. And now, I don't know if you guys may have noticed, but there's like this trend of ministry leaders, regardless of the title. And what they do is they'll post a reel of them kind of going throughout the entire day, kind of like a day in the life. So they have a camera shooting them getting out of the fancy car, being escorted to the church that they're speaking at, studying the Bible, laying hands on somebody passing out, showing kind of what happened in the service, and then showing them getting back in the car and going back home. So this is glamorized. And it's weird because if I eat this mic one more time, it's weird because you don't see any of that stuff in the Bible. Like, spreading the gospel in the Bible was never glamorous. It was never something that the disciples did to be seen. In fact, it was like hated. They were persecuted for it. But now it's like the thing to do because they want to be known. They want to be seen. They want to be, some of them want to be worshiped. And I'm not generalizing, but, you understand what I'm saying. So it's glamorized. So there's this desire. And so people see that and they start to idolize that person. And so they're like, oh yeah, they have this gift. A lot of people like them. So they're a celebrity pastor, which sounds so weird to even say a celebrity pastor, but that's kind of the day and age we live in. So there's celebrity status in ministry. There's celebrity status in the secular world. And so we get caught up, let's use the ministry example, in the person, in the charisma, in the emotions, that we fail to realize that it's actually our jobs to take whatever it was that they poured into you, no matter how, glamorized it was, no matter how full of emotions it was. The goal was supposed to be to take what was said, allow it to sit in you, rest in you, absorb the information for yourself first, apply it, and then be able to pour it into someone else. Using your gifts, using your unique way that you're able to help someone else with the information that you received. So that, is ultimately supposed to be the goal, but we've twisted it because we got caught up in the charisma of the person, the charm of the person, the wit of the person, their ability to flow in the prophetic, their ability to lay hands on people, their ability to do certain things. And so we now idolize that person instead of what it was we were supposed to get out of that person. And so that's what happens. All right. So let's go back to this secular example. So let's say this person becomes well known for doing this thing or singing a certain way. And now another person comes after them and they're compared to this person, or even in the gospel industry, let's say a singer. A singer is well known for just doing what they do. Then you have another singer that comes along. They're just doing their thing in their own way. They're being them. But now they're being compared to, oh, you're the next, or oh yeah, they remind me of such and such. Oh yeah, that's like, oh yeah, she got that such and such vibe. No, they're being themselves. They are who they are. Um, they might be accused of being a copycat, but that shouldn't be the case, because although people have similar gifts, every person is unique. And so they should never be compared, because they're two different people, right? And so that person is responsible for being authentically them, having this gift, offering it to whatever audience chooses to listen, watch, hear, whatever. And that's the way that they affect the world. That's the way they show up. Um, Instead of bashing a musical artist for the fact that you don't like the song that they came out with, it's their way of presenting their gift to the world. That is what they came up with. So if you don't like it, then you're just not the audience that was intended to hear that thing, but somebody else may like it. It doesn't have to sound like what you think it's supposed to sound like. It is literally them um, offering their creativity to the world in their way. So, getting back to the main or ultimate focus point of this podcast is that I believe everyone is a celebrity, or is supposed to be a celebrity in their own way. Either everybody's a celebrity or nobody's a celebrity, meaning no one should be put on this pedestal, no one should be worshipped. We all have a gift, we all have gifts, and we all have a job and a responsibility and a duty to use those gifts, operate in those gifts confidently within this world as a collective. Like, we are supposed to collectively find what it is inside of us that we are good at naturally, or things we might have learned, and offer those gifts to our audience. And our audience, whoever it may be, is going to be attracted to those things. Not to leave it to a person, one individual, or 1 to 2 individuals in this category, a couple individuals in this category, to be responsible for heading an entire arena. So you got 3 famous preachers that is well known, and so they're the GOAT. No, you're a preacher too. It's your job to use your gift in your way. That person should not be idolized. Use your gift, and everybody uses their gifts, and nobody is idolized. Nobody is worshiped, because we're all just doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're all just using our gifts. I hope that makes sense. We need to once we become more community oriented, more community focused, and really become interested in humanity, the quality of humanity as a whole, versus seeing our names in lights, versus being liked, versus being on a billboard, versus being on somebody's itinerary, versus being somebody's keynote speaker. Then I think that will be the beauty in this world. Like, I think it will be a beautiful thing, for lack of a better sentence. I think it will be beautiful. Now, this is not to say that some people won't be more known than others. It's nothing wrong with that. Some people are called to large audiences, the masses, and some people are called to more intimate, smaller audiences. But that doesn't mean that the people who are called to the larger audiences have more impact than the people who are called to a smaller audience. No, you just never know. Like, let's say you're called to a group of 10 people, and you pour into those 10 people, and one person just happens to be CEO of a company of 40,000 employees. Do you see how many people you ultimately have impacted versus you worrying about being called to 1,000 people, and everybody just enjoys, you got them feeling hype, you got them feeling good, and they all go home and they don't impact nobody. So don't worry about the size. Yes, some people are called to the masses. Some people are called to more intimate groups, but it doesn't matter. You're called to an audience, and everybody should be looked at on the same level in that regard. Something I noticed, I was reading an article about the number of celebrities that committed suicide. I think it was over like a 15 or 20-year period. It was so sad. I could barely continue reading the reasons for committing suicide. Like, I was reading depression, loneliness, stress, financial issues, relationship issues, but it was so many that were depressed. And it was just like, wow, we have no idea what people are really going through. Like, they put on a face. Some of them were probably high functioning. So we had no clue what was going on internally, but yet we are aiming to be like them. Like, we see these people on TV, we see these people in the spiritual arena, because definitely there have been pastors who have committed suicide as well. But we see these people and we worship them because we want to be like them, because they seem to have it all, and we just never know. So the goal should not be to want to hit celebrity status. The goal should be to pour at whatever level you're called, and allow that to impact whoever is supposed to impact, and let that be that. Okay, so we're going to wrap this podcast up. Didn't want this one to be too long, but before we go, I want to leave you with some nuggets. And these are things that are going to help you along the way, just in your quest to just becoming a better you, authentic you, removing the desire and the goal. I should say removing the goal of hitting celebrity status, and just focusing on being the best version of yourself that you can be. Like, it always kind of circles back to that, being the highest and best version of you that you can be, regardless of what arena that may be in. And so I'm going to give you 4 steps in order to really start flowing in that, and in order to just kind of get moving, just kind of a boost or activation, if you will. And so step number 1 is to uncover or discover, if you haven't already. Some just need to be uncovered, some need to be activated, some people need to push, some people actually need to discover because they have no idea. Uncover your gifts and abilities. And this is so we're all on this equal playing field, right? Because the goal is to make this world a better place, and it's going to take us as a collective doing what we're supposed to do. So you need to uncover your gifts and abilities. Find out what it is inside of you that you're good at, that you're naturally capable of doing. Everyone has something. Some people may have one thing, some people may have 10 things, but you have at least one thing that you're gifted to do. It may not be a tangible thing. It may not be something that is so obvious. I'll give you an example. So, although I have many gifts, one of my very intangible or abstract, I would say abstract gifts, is activation. I have the ability, and it's a powerful ability, to activate people to do things that they might not have done otherwise. But it's not something that is obvious. It's not something that people would look at me and say, "Oh, you have the gift of activation." No, It's something I learned over time, and thankfully someone else pointed it out to me, because I knew what was happening in other people. I just didn't necessarily know what to call it. But I would notice that when I would speak into people's lives, no matter what it is, it could be one word, it could be two words, it could be a sentence, it could be me telling them to do something, or something pops in my mind that plants a seed in them. And then the next thing you know, boom, the influence that was on the inside of me, and I'm getting chills thinking about it because it's that powerful, allowed them to be able to move into whatever area that they were supposed to move into. And so that is a gift. Now, I could have said, I don't have any gifts. I don't have, because it's not something that it's not singing. It's not being a public speaker. It's not playing the drums. It's not any of those other things. It's a very abstract gift, but it is a powerful gift. So you have gifts on the inside of you. Uncover those gifts and abilities, okay? Number 2, remove the pressure to be perfect, liked, and known. This one is so important, guys. Just do it because it's who you are. Just do it because you love to do it. Do it because it brings you joy. Do it because it fulfills you. Remove that sense of perfection, that that feeling that everything has to be right before I do it. I have to be liked, or if I say this, somebody's not going to like it. If I do this, they're not going to like it. Take all of that away and just be. Just do it. Just do it. If 5 people like it, wonderful. 1 person likes it, wonderful. Just freaking do it. Number 3, commit to being authentic. That is an entire podcast episode for another day, but I'm going to just say, learn who you are and be courageous enough to be who you are, because you cannot impact anyone being a cheap copycat of another person. There's no way. There is absolutely no way you can affect change unless you become the change. Unless you are bold enough to be real about who you are, you're not going to impact anyone. You're not going to affect anyone. You may have minimal impact on some level, but the people you're actually called to, the audience that you're supposed to attract, they're never going to find you until you're willing to be authentic. And then number 4, pour. Now that you've uncovered your gifts, you've removed that pressure of being liked, well known, you are now your authentic self. It's time to pour. Figure it out. Find the platform. Find you're not even gonna have to find the people. Just begin to pour. Just begin to say what it is that you're supposed to say. Just begin to be who you are and watch what happens. Watch the people begin to gravitate towards you. Those you're called to, they're going to begin to gravitate towards you. The more you speak, there'll be a boldness that just rises up in you. But it's your job, after you've done all those 3 steps, is to pour. Start pouring. Pour from a cup that is overflowing and not your reserves. Now, I'm glad I said that, because there are also some things, and I'll end on this note, not on that note. There are also some things you have to do, I feel, prior to pouring. Okay, even like within those steps 1 through 3, I think something has to happen. Some things have to happen because let's say you do become well known, right? That wasn't the goal, but because of your gifts, you just happen to attract the masses, right? There are a few things I feel are crucial that you need to make sure are in place and established prior to ascending into that place of popularity. Okay. The first thing I would say is to heal. If there is any unhealed trauma, undealt with issues, inner conflicts, inner issues from childhood, anything from adulthood that you have not dealt with, any undiagnosed mental issues, heal. Okay? Because if you don't, you're going to go up, but you're going to come crashing down. Okay? You may not crash quickly, but you're going to crash hard if you don't heal. You have to take care of those things that have been undealt with, because there's no way you're going to be able to ascend and really be able to lead, go into leadership positions, affect people's lives without first being a healed whole person. Okay, so heal. Number 2, and this kind of goes along with healing, but it is separate. Develop your character. Develop in those areas like leadership. If you know you're called to lead people, then you need to develop in that area of leadership. What are the characteristics of a great leader? Like learn those and figure out how it is that you can develop some of those qualities and traits. What is your temperament like? Do you have anger issues? Do you rage? Do you lack in the area of emotional intelligence? You have to handle all of that first. Are you a kind person? Are you a mean-spirited person? Like, I can't tell you how many times I see on social media or social media, where this person quickly becomes well known, right? And then boom, all of a sudden you come to find out they're this just mean person when it comes to doing business with or interpersonal relationships with. They're this horrible person, and boom, nobody, like, they canceled you. There's this cancel culture that I don't like, but it's there. And so as quick as you go up, you get canceled because you haven't developed kindness, like a simple quality or characteristic or whatever it is, but kindness. Be kind. And then the last thing I'll say that you need to do before you begin to pour is build genuine connections offline, at least one. And some people may say, well, your people won't come, or your tribe won't come until you're doing what you're supposed to do. And that may be the case, but I say you need one person because, and I'm being real honest with you, not too many things feel worse than, let's say you're going, you were called to speak somewhere. You are a keynote speaker. You go speak somewhere, did a great job. You poured. After the event, you get home and there is no one to tell about it. When I tell you that is a horrible feeling, I mean it. So build genuine connections. Social media connections are not genuine. These people follow you for what you got, not for who you are. I hate to tell you, but it is the reality of the situation. Get you some people who are going to be in your corner no matter what, who are encouraging you, who are pushing you, who know the things that you have going on in your life. Not everything, but Loneliness is a real feeling. Isolation is a real feeling. And you don't want to be so busy uh, pouring into others that you come to find out at the end of the day, dang, I ain't got nobody pouring into me. Or I ain't got no friends. Like, that is, you don't want to be that person. So even like for me, I'm very honest about like, okay, yes, I know I'm called to, do great things or whatever, but if it means me not having close friends, I'll pass. I'm good. I don't want it. I don't want it because at the end of the day, what's most important to me is genuine, authentic, loving connections. There's nothing like it. And so build genuine connections offline so that way when you are pouring online, you're not left feeling um, this sense of emptiness. Guys, that is going to do it for this episode. I hope I was able to kind of tie everything together. I know it was kind of scattered a little bit, but hopefully you got something out of it. Let me know if this helped you in any way, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Authentically D. Take care, guys.